Part 28. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 273. Yang Hao felt a little strange. The people he attacked and killed along the way were not very powerful. Almost all of them are saints, sages, and even those under the realm of saints. There is no quasi-emperor. Moreover, those who attacked and killed him all had the luck of the Ziwei star, and were not peerless geniuses from other stars. What makes Yang Hao even more strange is that the eyes of the attackers he killed with his hands are extremely determined, as if they are going to die. These disciples and elders of the Holy Land of Eternal Life are also very strange. They seemed less in awe of me and more wary and confused. Yang Hao has arrived at the mountain gate of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. At this moment, Yang Hao is at the height of his power in the Holy Land of Eternal Life, and his prestige is extremely terrifying. He knows very well that all the disciples of the Holy Land of Eternal Life will honor him and worship him fanatically, and will never appear. Such a situation. What happened? It seems that it should be related to Lin Feng. Yang Hao is not stupid either. He just had a thought and made a guess. However, he didn't say anything more and returned directly to his Yaoguang Immortal Peak. Owner. I have something important to report to you. Just after returning, Lu Yan quickly appeared in front of Yang Hao. Her face was a little nervous. The moment she saw Yang Hao's return, she seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. Tell me what happened. Even if Yang Hao is omniscient and omnipotent with a single thought, he cannot make inferences about things that have no clues or information at all. Obviously, Lu Yan must know a lot of information, so he immediately asked Lu Yan to report. A few days ago, a strange phenomenon appeared on the Ziwei star. Between heaven and earth, there are endless pictures projected out. In that picture, it is the picture where you created the vision of the 9 dragons pulling the coffin. That's it? Now, the world thinks that you intend to bury Dao, and that you are the destroyer who will bring about the Dark Age again. Lu Yan looked ugly and said to Yang Hao, this is obviously nonsense. With the master's talent and strength, why does he need to become a world destroyer? Hearing Lu Yan's words, Yang Hao finally slowly woke up. So that's it? He gradually understood the anomalies he encountered along the way. Lin Feng is quite interesting. Half truth, half lie, a big lie to the world. No wonder they want to ruin my reputation. Of course Yang Hao knew what was in the giant bronze coffin when he created the phenomenon of the 9 dragons pulling the coffin in Wandao Pavilion. Of course it couldn't be Dao. Even from the very beginning, the giant bronze coffin of the 9 dragons pulling the coffin have never been opened. According to Lu Yan, the huge bronze coffin that shook the sky and the earth was opened in front of everyone's attention, revealing the avenue buried in it. This was obviously written by Lin Feng. Wanting to deceive the world, an incomparable illusion of course, it won't work if the news is true. But if it is 9 truths and 1 falsehood, there will be countless deceptions and it can deceive too many people. The destroyer of the world? What is that? Yang Hao murmured to himself. He really didn't know what this was. But obviously, this was Lin Feng's backhand. Even Lu Yan only recounted the process and had no knowledge of the so-called destroyer. He only knew about the destroyer. The world is related to the Dark Age of that year. It is enough to arouse the vigilance of the world. Just when Yang Hao was about to go to investigate, someone suddenly arrived at the Yaoguang Immortal Peak. Second Elder. With Yang Hao's current strength, he was naturally able to sense the identity of the visitor immediately. Not long after his return, the person who came directly to Yaoguang Immortal Peak was none other than Zhangju, the second elder of the Eternal Holy Land. Holy Lord, you are finally back. If you don't come back, the Holy Land will be in chaos. Zhangju couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief when he saw Yang Hao's return. He said, "What's going on now?" When Yang Hao heard this, he narrowed his eyes. Zhang Ju is a follower of Zhang Wu, a very good person, and one of his own. When she comes now, she must be telling him the news. Lu Yan should have told you the whole story. In the Holy Land of Eternal Life, many people also have doubts about you. It just so happened that Zhang Wu was in retreat again. Some people are already proposing to remove you from your position as Holy Lord. Zhang Ju said seriously to Yang Hao. Oh. Yang Hao showed a slight smile, and there was no surprise. From the time he walked out of the Beifang Fire God territory and was attacked and killed, he knew very well that although he was at the height of his power and became the eternal Holy Lord, there were still some people in the Holy Land who were hostile to him. He had malicious intentions. That was all before. With his prestige and strength, coupled with the existence of Zhang Wu, he can firmly suppress these people. But now, with the spread of the so-called annihilator theory, I am afraid that there are people in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Many people became even more restless. But after just a trip to the South China Sea, someone already wanted to depose him as the Holy Lord. Yes. But the Holy Lord can rest assured that the current turmoil in the Holy Land will not affect the overall situation. I have secretly compiled a list of these people. They will all be cleaned out before the Holy Lord ceremony. At this time, Zhang Ju's voice came again. This is not urgent. Second Elder, please tell us about this world destroyer first. Yang Hao didn't care. Instead, he asked about the world destroyer first. This matter involves the past events of the Dark Ages. Zhang Ju heard this and did not hide anything. He immediately explained to Yang Hao in an extremely serious manner, you should not know that in ancient times, our human race rose up and suppressed all the alien races, ushering in a glorious world. If there are no accidents, the cultivators of Zai Star will explode like a blowout, and evil geniuses will emerge one after another. The great emperor is Qingming, the quasi-emperor is like the sea. In such a big world, maybe soon, under the cover of strong luck, Zai Star will be able to rank among the top 10 stars in the sky. However, development in this world has its own order. If a big star's luck is to be strong, it needs to go through endless twists and turns. There is a lack of yin and yang, and everything changes. In this world, there will be disasters. If you can survive it, you will surely reach new heights and usher in a truly great world. In the ancient times, there were natural disasters and catastrophes, and ferocious beasts emerged. In ancient times, foreigners were kings, and they were high and mighty. These all gradually fade away with the passage of time. In the Dark Age, we also ushered in the darkest era for our human race. World-ending catastrophe. Zhang Ju's chest rose and fell. Although she had not experienced that era in person, she still felt inexplicably shocked when she thought of that era. Her tone was as gentle as possible, and she opened the curtain of that era for Yang Hao little by little. In that great world, there was a peerless genius who was astonishingly talented and extremely evil. This genius was born with a supreme foundation. At the age of 6, he had already enlightened the law and became a giant. In the same year, he was accepted as a disciple of a great emperor and became his direct successor. At the age of 18, this peerless genius enlightened the 9 special laws and evolved the avenue of space at the same time, and was about to become a quasi-sage. He is also like you. At that time, the immortal matter has not yet condensed, but it has evolved into a great way. For a moment, all the eyes of the world were focused on him. And this peerless monster did not disappoint everyone's expectations. He opened the path to invincibility. An invincible road that set off an entire era. Zhang Ju's eyes flickered, and he said slowly to Yang Hao, the road to invincibility, it turns out that there is no need to distinguish between life and death. Just beat it. But since then, people. Everything changes. On the road to invincibility, fight to the death. Hearing Zhang Ju's words, Yang Hao raised his eyebrows and said, on the road to invincibility, there is nothing wrong with fighting to the death. How could it detonate the era? Yang Hao has personally experienced the path of invincibility, so he naturally knows everything. Taking the path of invincibility will indeed significantly wither many strong men. When one person ascends the emperor's list, at his feet are the corpses of countless evil geniuses of the same generation. However, according to what he knows, the Dark Ages are not so simple. Of course it's not that simple. This peerless evildoer set off a bloody storm after embarking on the road to invincibility. At the same time, his avenue began to blossom. He created a taboo law. Deprive others of the avenue and make amends for yourself. Zhang Ju said quietly to Yang Hao. Deprive yourself of the road and make up for yourself. Yang Hao frowned. He had just deprived Lin Feng of his avenue before, and he knew that the avenue he had deprived could not fit in with him. If he wanted to use other people's avenues to make up for himself, the only result would be, to blow up. Yes. This talent is astonishing to the world. As long as he can walk the path of invincibility and give birth to the invincible Taoist heart, he can practice this taboo method and rely on killing others to make up for the Dao. After he reached the end of his invincible journey, he accidentally revealed this forbidden method, which was learned by many people. At this point, the bloody storm swept the entire world. The Dark Ages thus began. Hearing Zhang Ju's words, Yang Hao narrowed his eyes. Interesting. So, who is he? The destroyer? Hearing this, Zhang Ju nodded slightly and said, not bad. This peerless evildoer will be called the destroyer in future generations. At that time, he was called a lotus in the eternal blue sky, the Green Emperor. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 274. A lotus in the eternal blue sky. Qing Emperor. Why is there such a title? Yang Hao narrowed his eyes and asked casually. The origin of this title was very important in his memory. He never thought that Zhiwei Star would also have such a title. In the Dark Ages, the laws of the world evolved. Generally speaking, evolving the small world into the big world requires at least enlightenment before you can do it. When he became the Quasi-Emperor, he evolved the Qinglian world. In the blue sky and white sun, a sacred lotus grows by itself. Legend has it that his green lotus world is as powerful as a Ji-Dao imperial weapon, hence its name. Zhang Ju explained to Yang Hao. When Yang Hao heard the words, he was slightly enlightened. It turns out that this lotus in the eternal blue sky refers to the great world of the Qing Emperor. If so, it is indeed understandable. The method of killing the formation to transform the world was only found in the Dark Ages. Rise. Generally, it is only the great emperor who can evolve the big world. The Qing Emperor evolved the big world as a quasi-emperor, and he is indeed qualified to be remembered as a title. What's next? He started a bloody invincible path, so why is he called the destroyer of worlds? Yang Hao continued to ask, but Zhang Ju only said half of what he said before. Indeed, if the endless bloody invincible road is opened, coupled with the taboo law created by the Qing Emperor, many evil geniuses will naturally fall like rain. Let the fate of the times continue to decline. But things need to be viewed from both sides. In the eyes of a supreme genius like Yang Hao, the taboo law passed down by the Qing Emperor is heart-stirring. This is a cruel elimination of natural selection. If you stand out from it, you will only grow faster, and more supreme geniuses will be born. If this is the case, the emergence of the top powerhouses among Zhiwei Star will only surpass the past. If you look at it this way, the Qing Emperor will open up the road to invincibility. It just speeds up the elimination process, but it's not enough to be so taboo. The opening of the bloody invincible road has caused the fall of many evil geniuses, but it has also given rise to a group of truly supreme geniuses. It can be said that in the early days of the Dark Age, many supreme geniuses who were at the top of the Emperor list appeared in Zhiwei Star, and even alerted other stars to come to Zaiwei star to hunt. Because of this, many of the supreme prodigies were hunted by powerful men from other stars. Yang Hao nodded slightly when he heard the words. Now that he has entered the emperor ranking, he has already tasted the feeling of being attacked and killed by various emperor ranking masters. In this case, those supreme geniuses who stand out on the road to invincibility will probably fall again. He continued to listen carefully to Zhang Ju's words. The secrets of an era must not be so simple. The remaining supreme geniuses, when they were about to attain enlightenment, all encountered the Qing emperor on the path to attainment. As a result, they were all brutally suppressed by the Qing emperor. It can be said that Qing emperor has single-handedly trampled all the supreme geniuses in the entire world under his feet. In that era, even if there were people who could prove the truth, they would soon be killed by the Qing emperor. At first, many people thought that the Qing emperor was just warlike and bloodthirsty by nature, and was used to using others to sharpen himself. Until one day, something shocking happened. The Qing emperor killed his master. When Zhang Ju said this, his eyes couldn't help but be a little shocked. Qing emperor's master is the Nanming emperor. An extremely ancient being who has been teaching since ancient times, experienced ancient times, and lived into the Dark Ages. He has a gentle personality and is extremely kind. But in the end, Emperor Nanming was killed by Emperor Qing, who also attained enlightenment. Before his death, Emperor Nanming left his last words that echoed throughout the world. Zhang Ju said word by word. Emperor Nanming bluntly said that Emperor Qing was the annihilator born in response to the sky. He had a dark heart and was born only to bury everything. Everything he did was to annihilate the geniuses of this era and suppress the fate of Zaiwei star. Ordinary practitioners do not understand. But for saints like us who have become saints and control the avenue, we can easily understand its meaning. The world has its own laws of cause and effect. If the Zaiwei star wants to rise, it will encounter various natural disasters and man-made disasters. Qingdi is the one who deserves them. Later, the climax of the Dark Ages began with the fall of Emperor Nanming. Defeat the emperor. Subsequently, the darkness was turbulent, endless geniuses fell like rain, and even many holy places with endless years of inheritance were robbed, and their heritage was greatly lost. It is even said that the current situation of Zaiwei star without an emperor was caused by Emperor Qing. The name of destroying the world is worthy of its name. Hearing Zhang Ju once again emphasize the rules of the world, Yang Hao nodded slightly. He knew very little about everything about the Dark Ages. Because many classics about the Dark Ages are taboo and have even disappeared. Now his status is naturally, it can be seen. But in the past, when Yang Hao was the holy son of Yao Guang, he was unable to know such historical dust. Later, as his cultivation progressed greatly, he was busy with cultivation, and naturally rarely investigated deliberately these. Now that he heard Zhang Ju talk about it, he had a general understanding of the Dark Era. He finally understood why Lin Feng said with such confidence that he was ruined. Do you think I am the destroyer of the world? Yang Hao laughed helplessly and shook his head. His rise trajectory is indeed very similar to that of Qing Emperor. In the past, he thought that he was the only one who could evolve into a great path in front of the Saint Realm, but he didn't expect there to be anyone like him. It's just that Qing Emperor he broke the taboos of the times and was buried, leaving him unknown. Not only the path of evolution before the Saint's Realm, but also his growth was as fast as the Qing Emperor. Even more exaggerated than the Qing Emperor. After all, the Qing Emperor back then was the direct disciple of Emperor Nanming. But he, without any guidance from the Emperor, created miracles and legends along the way, and suppressed countless geniuses. The Dark Age ended, but it was only more than 100,000 years ago. In addition, the 9 dragons pulled the coffin. The elephant, transformed by Lin Feng's real and fake, must have touched the fragile nerves of the old antique who had experienced the Dark Ages. Holy Lord, All disturbances in my eternal holy land can be suppressed with iron blood. But you have to prove your innocence. It's a great age now, and it's extremely similar to the past. If you cannot be cleared of the suspicion of destroying the world, in order to prevent the recurrence of the Dark Age, there will definitely be a situation where the whole world will defeat the Emperor. There are signs now. Our secrets buried in the major holy places have already reported back, informing that many holy places are discussing privately and will all go to the holy land of eternal life. This battle was much bigger than the previous ambush. At this time, Zhang Ju said to Yang Hao very seriously. He no longer had the laziness and playfulness of the past. Understood. But it's useless to prove your innocence now. Don't tell your aunt about this, let her concentrate on retreat. I have my own way of solving this matter. Yang Hao understood what Zhang Ju meant, and he nodded slightly. But he knew very well that Zhang Ju's suggestion was indeed the right way. But proving his innocence? Yang Hao sneered. So what if he could really prove his innocence? This time for him it is an excellent opportunity for many holy places in Zhiwei Star, and even for the peerless talents from other big stars. His growth is too fast and too dazzling. Other holy places in Zhiwei Star are afraid of the holy land of eternal life because of his he rose up and completely suppressed an era. The supreme talents of other stars coveted his position on the imperial list. It is useless to prove his innocence. Regardless of whether he is the destroyer of the world, these holy places and the powerful men in the dark will add fuel to the fire. Will never give up until he is killed. This is a shocking death match against him. Fortunately, it is not that Yang Hao has no trump cards. He just thought about it and already thought of a way to break the deadlock. Therefore, he would say this to Zhang Ju. Yeah. Is there anything you need me to do? Zhang Ju looked worried when she heard this. Even though Yang Hao was confident, she still thought the current situation was too bad. Unnecessary. I am going to retreat for a while, just wait until I come out of retreat. Yang Hao said calmly. Is that so? Okay. Zhang Ju still felt a little uneasy after hearing this. Then you should retreat first, Zhang Ju warned Yang Hao, and then prepared to leave. Wait a moment. At this moment, Yang Hao suddenly remembered something and shouted to Zhang Ju. How? Anything else? Zhang Ju asked. Second elder, just on the list you mentioned. Clean them all. Yang Hao said lightly. Understood. Zhang Ju's eyes narrowed, but she responded without hesitation. Yang Hao called her the second elder, so naturally he gave the order as the Holy Lord. When she saw Yang Hao, his killing was decisive, and I couldn't help but secretly breathe a sigh of relief. Zhang Ju's figure disappeared, and Yang Hao looked at her leaving back thoughtfully. Afterwards, he left Yaoguang Immortal Peak and went to Fenglingdu to open the great emperor's tomb. 3 days later, a bloody storm broke out in the holy land of eternal life. More than a dozen saints, including 2 saints, were purged silently. Countless giants and emperors have fallen because of these powerful men. However, no one dared to disturb the Yaoguang Immortal Peak where Yang Hao was located, as if it was a dead place. Within the Yaoguang Immortal Peak, the world's ancient trees sway, washing away endless spiritual energy. Subsequently, the corpse of Emperor Skyfire echoed with strange wail sounds. Outside the holy land of eternal life, the undercurrent is turbulent, and countless extremely powerful people are born one after another. The storm is about to come and the wind is filling the building. Please download the novel without underlining. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 275. Earned 1.92 billion points for refining the Emperor's corpse. Earned 1.37 billion points due to the strengthening of the prehistoric killing array. Yang Hao is currently at the Yaoguang Immortal Peak, using the Great Desolate Killing Formation to continuously devour and refine the body of the Heavenly Fire Emperor. Compared to refining the Alien Emperor, I don't know if it was because of the consent of the incarnation of the Sky-Fire Emperor that the refining speed was much faster than the original refining speed of the Alien Emperor. If there were no accidents, and the body of Emperor Skyfire was refined and entered into the prehistoric killing array, my immortal material should not have finished its transformation. Yang Hao senses the immortal matter in his body at this moment. Under the system's tireless transformation of 100,000 immortal matter day and night, nearly 90,000 immortal matter has been transformed and born at this moment. If there are no accidents, after Yang Hao will transform the body of the Skyfire Emperor after refining, you can quickly complete the transformation of immortal matter and officially become a saint. I don't know what changes will happen when my prehistoric killing array transforms into the world. Yang Hao's eyes flickered, and he was very much looking forward to it. It can be said that the foundation of his ancient killing array is too powerful, with countless divine objects and materials gathered together. Among them, it even includes the Great Emperor Formation I, the Great Emperor's corpse, and an Emperor level. Although I don't know what kind of existence the Zilongju of the ferocious beast is, the fact that it can be compared with the Formation I of the Yongsheng Emperor is enough to represent the power of this Zilongju. Such a powerful foundation, combined with the corpses of the three great emperors, has already the prehistoric killing array was strengthened to the extreme. Time began to pass like this. No matter how the world changed, what kind of storms there were in the outside world, they could not affect Yang Hao. On this day, all the whales in Yang Hao's Great Desolate Killing Formation suddenly roared. Then, the Great Desolate Killing Formation began to tremble and sway crazily. Many divine lights crazily overflowed from the prehistoric killing formation. The body of Emperor Skyfire was finally completely refined. The prehistoric killing array has begun to transform. Yang Hao was refreshed. He could sense that all the whales in the Great Desolate Killing Formation were falling at the same time, creating a terrifying vitality combined with the rising breath of the prehistoric killing formation. The mysterious and endless breath washed away the entire Yaoguang Immortal Peak. Yang Hao saw the Xian Huang Qi again. Back then, Yang Hao only saw one or two when the Great Desolate Killing Formation was just born. Now, there are too many Xian Huang Qi, washing out from the void of the prehistoric killing formation. Then as time passed, the prehistoric killing array began to undergo crazy qualitative changes. Is this the power of the world? The sage who used the supreme killing formation to evolve a small world and created such a method was truly amazing and extremely talented. Yang Hao took a deep breath. To evolve the small world, naturally he did not wait for the supreme killing formation to transform on its own. He guided the overflowing vitality and power of the world from the ancient killing formation, just as carefully as when he suddenly realized the Great Way, and began to evolve the world according to the unknown trajectory. This method of evolving the world was left behind by the sage who was created by chance. Anyone who is a sage from Ziwei Star has mastered this method of evolving the world. Ziwei's luck comes out. The luck of the Holy Land of Eternal Life comes out. The luck of the Emperor's List comes out. Yang Hao's method of evolving the world also dropped his own destiny into the prehistoric killing array. These lucks do not make the Great Desolate Killing Formation more powerful. Instead, let the prehistoric killing array evolve the world's method to protect it. The richer the luck, the smoother the evolution of the world will be with the prehistoric killing array. As expected. With Yang Hao's extremely rich luck, naturally no bloody accident happened at this time. The method of evolving the world has been passed down for hundreds of thousands of years since the Dark Ages. If Yang Hao's terrible luck could lead to an accident, then there are not many people who can evolve a small world on the Ziwei Star. The killing array began to expand, and combined with my sea of spiritual energy, it grew crazily. The world is taking shape. From now on, the primordial killing formation will become a real small world. The small world of ancient times. Yang Hao's eyes flashed, and the small prehistoric world has been formed. Mountains, rivers, grass, and trees, the sky and the earth are distinct. It stretches for hundreds of millions of miles, and is no longer as small as before. What surprises Yang Hao even more is that in the small prehistoric world at this moment, except for the whales swimming around, in addition to the dragon-shaped creatures that were slowly born before. In the small world of ancient times, more and more creatures appeared. Beast. Demon. Now. Yang Hao looked at his ancient little world. In addition to dragon-shaped creatures, there were also various beasts and demons appearing. These creatures were all things he had seen with his own eyes through his endless training and experience. To what he has experienced. At this moment, with the opening of the prehistoric small world, following his thoughts, the power of the world began to be born. Picture of the immortal king's creation. What shocked Yang Hao was the reappearance of the extremely mysterious treasure of the immortal king's creation map. It began to flow with brilliance crazily. Then, in the small world of ancient times, many miraculous things began to appear, which even Yang Hao had never seen before. A living creature. Like a giant wolf with 3 heads and 6 tails. Like a giant mirage with a majestic head and horns, and a body that wins tens of thousands of miles. Or like a spirit monster with magical patterns all over its body, and the laws are constantly appearing. The appearance of these creatures makes the small world of prehistoric times more vibrant and more real. The wind comes. Snow comes. Daytime. Dark night. Not only that, Yang Hao began to create elements such as day and night, wind, snow, and rain in the small world of ancient times. With the emergence of these, the entire prehistoric small world finally began to become extremely real. Humanoid creatures appear. No, they should be called innate gods. At this moment, Yang Hao felt something in his heart, knowing that his journey of creation had reached its climax. He sensed that the ancient world, which was now extremely real and filled with terrifying vitality, had finally given birth to a humanoid creature like him. The first thing that appeared, are 3 people with different shapes. One is an old man with a kind face and kind eyes. One is a young man with sharp eyebrows and starry eyes. The other is a young man with a cold posture and extremely proud. On the other side of the prehistoric small world, a middle-aged man wearing a Taoist robe and an immortal spirit appeared. There are also boys and girls with human faces and snake bodies appearing. The entire prehistoric small world is full of vitality. These creatures are extremely intelligent and possess extraordinary minds. After they were born, they began to realize the Tao and became great practitioners in the blink of an eye. Prehistoric, created by my own hands. Although these innate gods have self-awareness, they can all appear in my mind. When Yang Hao saw them, he had an enlightenment again. His eyes flashed. Suddenly, his body appeared in the small world where he was. This was not his body, but a projection. I have seen Emperor Zun. Tongtian has seen Emperor Zun. Rahu met Emperor Zun. When he appeared, he rode the whale of all things and cruised in the small world of the wild. These newly born innate gods looked at Yang Hao with great respect and bowed to salute. I have met all fellow Taoists. Yang Hao had a smile on his face, but the next moment he said, you are born at the right time, and there should be a great opportunity. These are given to you. His words fell to the ground. Various spiritual treasures that were originally suspended in the depths of the small world began to appear around him. Anyone who is destined can get it. As the voice fell, these powerful spiritual treasures that had been condensed when the prehistoric small world was still in the prehistoric killing array began to fly out on their own, looking for their masters. The innate god who called himself Lao Tzu got the item that exuded a black and yellow aura. The small tower. The innate god named Tongtian got the 4 small swords that are innate killing artifacts. The innate god named Luahu got the original killing power of the great desolate killing formation. That powerful little gun. Too many spiritual treasures are scattered into the small world. Yang Hao smiled when he saw this scene, but he didn't feel distressed. He knew very well that the acquisition of these spiritual treasures by these innate gods would not hinder him from using the ancient small world, but would instead enable him to exert more powerful world power. Because this is not the real prehistoric world, but a small prehistoric world created based on his memory. Even if there are discrepancies between it and his own memory, he is the master here. Please give me a helping hand. Yang Hao thought for a while and began to test the power of this ancient little world. We all follow the emperor. The emperor has orders, and you should obey them. As Yang Hao spoke, powerful creatures immediately said, "Good." When Yang Hao saw this scene, he started to laugh and kept testing the scene he had just performed, the incomparably mysterious little world of ancient times. Just 1 month after Yang Hao evolved the prehistoric killing array into the prehistoric small world. At this moment, outside the holy land of eternal life, figures began to appear one after another. Yin Yang Holy Land, come and visit the holy land of eternal life. The holy land of creation, come and visit the holy land of eternal life. One after another in different voices resounded throughout the holy land of eternal life. Afterwards, extremely strong men exuding terrifying auras appeared one after another. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 276. What do you want to do when you come to my holy land of eternal life? It's really so majestic, coming with such a tacit understanding, with bad intentions. In the holy land of eternal life, when a series of unceremonious thundering sounds were heard, the clouds suddenly moved and the tone became mocking. Immediately, powerful men from the holy land of eternal life burst out with powerful momentum. The first elder, second elder, ninth elder of the eternal holy land. Ancient dragon saint. Qin Sheng, Huai emperor, blood emperor. Whether they were quasi-sages, saints, or even quasi-emperors, they all stepped out at this moment, revealing their extremely powerful heritage. With such a big battle, it is natural that many powerful men in the holy land of eternal life know that the people coming to the major holy lands today are evil, and there may even be a bloody battle. If it were any other force in Zyway Star, they would probably feel uneasy and trembling at this moment. The holy land of eternal life is different. At this time, no one is timid, only confident and domineering. Today, they are coming fiercely, and naturally they are not doing good to the holy land of eternal life. The major holy places are also very aware, and the eternal holy land must have already received the news. Otherwise, they would not have just arrived outside the mountain gate of the holy land of eternal life today, and the entire holy land of eternal life would have poured out, revealing its powerful foundation. Many of the lords of the holy land who came here looked with fear at the silhouettes of powerful men appearing inside the mountain gate of the eternal holy land. The foundation of the holy land of eternal life, which is based on the practice of immortality, is really terrible. It's just that the powerful Ji-Dao who has come out now is far beyond their imagination. Naturally, it also overwhelms other powerful holy places in Zyway Star at this moment. But this foundation is not much worse than the combination of Yin Yang Holy Land and Qian Kun Holy Land. This is not even counting the fact that the holy land of eternal life has not yet been born. The first force of Zyway Big Star. One after another looked at the gate of the holy land of eternal life with strange eyes. In the world of cultivation, even though there are many people who are powerful, they even overpowered many powerful people in the holy land of eternal life back then. But after the long river of time passed by, everything in the world changed. Many extreme powerhouses have been defeated by time. Only many of the extreme powerhouses in the holy land of eternal life not only did not decay, but relied on the unique longevity method of the holy land of eternal life as if they had lived a second life. This terrifying holy land of the 5 emperors, which has been established since ancient times, is really feared by too many powerful forces. Today, if it weren't for the world destroyer, there wouldn't be many big forces willing to get involved in this muddy water. For this matter, the major holy places have kicked off the eternal Holy Land and discussed it for several months before finally coming in person today. Ha ha ha, I don't know why you all came to my holy land of eternal life like this. The Blood Emperor who came out to protect Yang Hao a few days ago has now appeared outside the mountain gate of the eternal Holy Land. He has a heroic face and said calmly. It turns out to be the Blood Emperor. Today I have come to the Holy Land of eternal life. I think you already know our purpose. Hand over Yang Hao, he is the destroyer of the world. No matter how powerful your eternal Holy Land is, you cannot protect him today. At this time, the Holy Lord of the Yin-Yang Holy Land walked out with cold eyes and said straight to the point. The Holy Lord of the Yin-Yang Holy Land looked a little complicated when he finished speaking. He recalled that outside the Wanlong dojo in the past, Yang Hao was just a little kid. A small Taoist realm practitioner. But now, he has become a saint by performing magic. Although he is only a quasi-sage, he is universally recognized as a quasi-emperor in combat power. Even he is not as good as him. If Yang Hao is too weak, Yin-Yang Holy Land, why is it necessary to unite many holy places to suppress Yang Hao? They and their family can suppress him. But obviously, Yang Hao is now in a hurry. It is just their holy place that can no longer do anything to get Yang Hao. Oh! Do you want us, the eternal Holy Land, to hand over my Lord of the Holy Land to your disposal? Do you think my Holy Land of eternal life is easy to bully? At this time, Emperor Huai's faint voice sounded calmly. At the same time, a terrifying pressure was pressed against the Holy Lord of the Yin-Yang Holy Land. The face of the Holy Lord Yin-Yang changed greatly. A quasi-emperor with ancient heritage, just his momentum is enough to overwhelm him. Brother Tao, why do you do this? You should already know that Yang Hao is the destroyer of the world. He has not held the Holy Lord ceremony yet. Even if he calls himself the Holy Lord, he is still not the Holy Lord. What this emperor and the Holy Land of the world seek is peace for the world. As long as the Holy Land of eternal life can wake up today, kill his relatives, and let Yang Hao kill himself, all the Holy Lands are willing to offer an apology and apologize for what happened today. At this time, a voice was light and gentle, and the terrifying momentum of Emperor Huai's pressure on the Yin-Yang Holy Land was resolved. Emperor Hao, the quasi-emperor of the Yin-Yang Holy Land, stepped out at this moment, showing his sharpness. He actually threatened the Holy Land of eternal life to kill Yang Hao. The meaning behind the word seems to be gentle, but in fact, it hides murderous intent. If the Holy Land of eternal life does not agree today, it will be an enemy of all the holy lands of Zaiwei Star. Ha ha, so majestic. The Divine Lord, that is the Holy Lord recognized by my eternal Holy Land. I am the Holy Land of eternal life, a holy master personally recognized by the 5 emperors. But just a few cats and dogs dare to threaten my holy place of eternal life. What you mean cannot represent other holy places? The Blood Emperor said with a smile. His words were sarcastic, and what he said was indeed true. Although there are many holy places coming today, not all the holy places in Zaiwei Star have arrived. For example, Tiantong Holy Land, Taiyin Holy Land, 10,000 Dharma Holy Land and other holy places have never come to. My Kinkan Holy Land also means the same thing. I created the Holy Land and agree with what Brother Hao Dao said. The same is true for my Holy Land of the Sun. Even so, as the Blood Emperor's voice fell, a series of indifferent voices sounded. At the same time, figures walked out one after another. In the Holy Land of Kinkan, there is a white-haired old man with a majestic face, not angry but majestic. He is clearly a quasi-emperor. In the Holy Land of Creation, a stunning young woman walked out with curved eyebrows and an edge in her smile. In the Holy Land of the Sun, a middle-aged scribe walked out, dressed in a golden robe, as bright as the sun. Seeing this scene, the extremely strong men in the Holy Land of Eternal Life shrank their pupils. Everyone who walks out of these holy places is in the quasi-emperor realm. From every house, a quasi-emperor came to express his attitude and wanted to eradicate Yang Hao. This time, the determination of the major holy places is more terrifying than they imagined. Oh no! I'm afraid there will be a shocking battle today. A more ancient existence needs to be awakened. The three leading quasi-emperors in the Eternal Holy Land made eye contact. Today's situation is much more serious than they imagined. The so-called destroyers are just catching wind and shadow. Do you really want to perish here today? At this moment, Emperor Huai spoke, extremely coldly. Good. I've made up my mind. I heard that there are many ancient beings who claim to be themselves in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. I don't know how many people can get out today and how many people can survive. Judging from your appearance, you should not be willing to hand over Yang Hao. Then let's fight. Excuse me. At this time, Emperor Hao of the Yin-Yang Holy Land sneered. They came today for such a big battle, and this was not a negotiation. Seeing that the Holy Land of Eternal Life was so stubborn, he directly declared war. Take action. The quasi-emperors of other holy lands also made eye contact. At the same time, they took action instantly. Start the battle. Seeing this scene, the three quasi-emperors of the Holy Land of Eternal Life also spoke instantly. Since they had expected that the major holy places would unite, how could they not be prepared? The Holy Land of Eternal Life can remain standing for endless years. It depends on talkative. Today, I will leave you all here. The extremely strong men in the Eternal Holy Land all had ferocious faces and smiles. In an instant, a shocking battle broke out. In the Eternal Holy Land, the mother sword of all things, the Emperor Mountain and the Kahai sword flew out in an instant, falling on the Blood Emperor, the hands of Emperor Huai and the Ancient Emperor. Blood splatters. Kuiming. You deserve to die. The next moment, a scream came. This scream came from the Holy Lord of Creation. He was seriously injured in an instant. The fourth elder of the Holy Land of Creation actually attacked him directly. There is no doubt that the fourth elder was buried in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Anzi in other holy places. But not only the Holy Land of Creation. At this moment, as the formation of the Holy Land of Eternal Life surges up, one after another screams and screams. He. Emperor Huai sneered. Not only the Holy Land of Eternal Life, but other holy lands also have a large number of undercover agents from the Holy Land of Eternal Life. In many holy lands, there are many strong men of the extreme path bleeding at the same time. The secrets buried in the Holy Land of Eternal Life, one after another the sun attacked and killed the opponent. The battle had just begun, and a bloody scene happened. The sky was filled with curses and roars. Emperor Hao of the Yin-Yang Holy Land had cold eyes and pointed out the great elder of the Eternal Holy Land, but his face changed drastically, he couldn't dodge, and he fell instantly. Not only the great elder. The second elder Zhangju, who was not far from the great elder, was also suppressed by Emperor Hao and was in danger. There was no way. Even if there was a large formation siege, and there were various secrets have come out, but there are too many quasi-emperors coming to the Holy Land of Eternal Life today. Emperor Hao has enough time to take action. Boom. At this moment, strange shadows suddenly appeared next to the second elder. Huh. Hao's eyes showed a strange look. His killing attack was blocked. A figure dressed in white slowly walked out. Zhang Wu. During the war, many people noticed this figure. Zhangju, why didn't you tell me about such a big thing? Zhang Wu didn't pay attention, but asked Zhangju in a calm tone. The words were short, but light and heavy, and resounded throughout the gate of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Please download the novel without underline. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 277. Elder Zhang, why did you walk out? When Zhang Ju saw Zhang Wu, his face was slightly startled and he said immediately. She indeed did not inform Zhang Wu of the recent major events. First, it was because of Yang Hao's instructions. Second, it was because Zhang Wu was at the critical moment of breaking through. And cannot be disturbed. It is too difficult for a quasi-emperor to be born. If an accident occurs during the breakthrough, the success will fall short. Because of this, Zhang Ju did not tell Zhang Wu everything. But she would never have thought of it. At this time, Zhang Wu actually appeared here. How did she know? Zhang Ju was a little confused in his heart. It would take thousands of years for a sage to retreat to attack the quasi-emperor. It is too normal to close all perceptions. Now Zhang Wu has only been in retreat for a short time. Logically speaking, it is impossible for Zhang Wu to know everything. Unless Zhang Wu has never retreated at all. After the retreat is over, I will naturally walk out. I didn't expect to see such a scene. I heard, it's because of how Zhang Wu's beautiful eyes were narrow, staring at everything in her eyes. Although her appearance attracted a lot of attention, the war has not stopped at all. Holy wars that are difficult to see in ordinary times are everywhere in front of the mountain gate of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. If not, it was the Holy Land of Eternal Life that had set up a large formation, covering everyone. It was impossible to say that just one battle would instantly turn the entire Holy Land of Eternal Life into a wasteland. There was no way. The lineup in front of me was really too terrifying. Even the quasi-emperor is taking action. If she arrives later, it is impossible to say that the gates of the Holy Land of Eternal Life will be completely destroyed. It turns out to be Zhang Wu. The eternal Holy Lord of the previous generation was quite courageous. What a pity, are you here to die today? At this time, Emperor Hao's calm voice came. Of the three quasi-emperors in the eternal Holy Land, one presided over the formation, and the other two quasi-emperors were fighting two or more quasi-emperors at the same time. Emperor Hao, however, had free combat power. No one can control her. In his eyes, if Zhang Wu walks out at this time, she is just going to die. Sister Zhang, hurry up and go back to the depths of the Holy Land. At this time, Zhang Ju called Zhang Wu her sister. She was obviously a little anxious and lost her bearings. She was just shocked by the news that Zhang Wu had broken through to the quasi-emperor. But she soon realized that what if Zhang Wu broke through to the quasi-emperor? Even though the Holy Land of Eternal Life has expected that many powerful people from the extreme will come today, the battle in front of them has also exceeded the expectations of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Today's battle will never end so easily. Zhang Ju is worried about Zhang Ju. Wu was so impulsive that she confronted Emperor Hao and lost her life in vain. Little girl, in your eyes, is this saint so impulsive? At this time, Zhang Wu chuckled and said immediately, since I am here for Hao as his protector, I need to exert some strength. Let me offer you as a sacrifice. Zhang Wu looked at Emperor Hao in front of her and said with a smile. Oh. Interesting. Seeing as you are so confident, you must have achieved a breakthrough. It seems that becoming Yang Hao's protector has brought you a lot of benefits. However, as the protector of the destroyer, you should also be contaminated with the aura of destruction, and you need to suppress it together. Emperor Hao spoke calmly. Not only him, but another quasi-emperor broke out from the formation of the Holy Land of Eternal Life, and said with great interest, I heard that this little girl was the most important person in the Holy Land of Eternal Life before Yang Hao was born. An evil person has now broken through to the quasi-emperor realm. Although he borrowed Yang Hao's luck, it also makes me feel a little bit technical. I haven't killed anyone for many years, so I'll take action on you today. This gray-haired quasi-emperor is the quasi-emperor of Qincan Holy Land. At this moment, Luan God Emperor smiled lightly, and his white hair turned into black hair. Although he said he looked down on Zhang Wu, He paid special attention to her. Brother Luan Shen Taoist, today is not about a fight of spirits. You and I should suppress her together and rush into the holy land of eternal life to capture the little devil. When Emperor Hao saw this scene, he gently said cruel and shameless words. Rational. The Chaos God Emperor is also a person who has lived for endless years. At this moment, there is no pretense at all. Hearing Emperor Hao's suggestion, he readily agreed. Sister Zhang. Zhang Ju's face changed suddenly when she saw that the two quasi-emperors were about to join forces. She did not expect that Zhang Wu would break through and become a quasi-emperor, but even if Zhang Wu broke through and became a quasi-emperor, it would still not be the same as Emperor Hao and Emperor Luan. The quasi-emperor has had an opponent for who knows how many years. When Zhang Wu saw this scene, she also frowned. She obviously found it difficult. But Zhang Wu only pondered for a moment, but her beautiful eyes were filled with light. No problem. I also want to kill a few quasi-emperors. Just in time, let me start the invincible road. The era she lived in the past was not a great world. The road to invincibility had long been hidden, so Zhang Wu did not embark on the road to invincibility. But now she has spoken out and wants to embark on the road to invincibility when she is the quasi-emperor. This makes many people shocked. Emperor Hao and Emperor Luan also frowned. Want a fair fight? It's a pity that if you open the path to invincibility in the Saint Realm, you still have a chance. If the quasi-emperor takes the path of invincibility, you will be doubtful. The Chaos God Emperor said calmly, as if he could see through Zhang Wu's thoughts. But Zhang Wu chuckled lightly. Today, I, Zhang Wu, will take the path of invincibility and kill all the quasi-emperors in the world. Her words fell to the ground. Golden clouds dawned in the sky, and thousands of feet of brilliant light fell down. Between heaven and earth, the crepe myrtle golden book appeared again. It fell towards Zhang Wu. Zhang Wu opened the road to invincibility. At the same time, her aura surged crazily. Sage Ninth Heaven. The ultimate sage. Quasi-emperor. Almost in an instant, her aura broke through and reached the quasi-emperor state. Just as Emperor Hao guessed. Zhang Wu walked out of the holy land of eternal life now, not because she knew everything and left the seclusion in advance. But I felt something in my heart, and after stepping into the quasi-emperor realm, I happened to find this shocking battle. Just the speed of Zhang Wu's breakthrough, if it weren't for Yang Hongmiu in front, she would have been shocked. The world. In fact, Zhang Wu has shocked the world by opening the invincible road at this moment. For the sake of the invincible Taoist heart, the opening of the invincible road can only be found in the Emperor's realm. And after reaching the Saint's realm, there are people who open it from time to time. There are also saints. But, it is so rare for a quasi-emperor to open up the road to invincibility. The reason is very simple. The real old monsters in this world are all quasi-emperors dormant. No one knows how terrifying the quasi-emperor realm will be. No one dares when he was a quasi-emperor, he embarked on the road of invincibility. At least, if we count the past 300,000 years, including the Dark Ages, the number of people who embarked on the road of invincibility in the realm of quasi-emperor would not exceed 5 fingers. Now, among everyone when the Holy Land besieged the Holy Land of eternal life, Zhang Wu, a peerless goddess who had just broken through and became a quasi-emperor, resolutely embarked on the road to invincibility, just to hold back a quasi-emperor. Zhang Yetu. It's so stupid, it shouldn't be like this. You have a bright future, so you should be patient. There is a quasi-emperor in the eternal Holy Land who is awakening. The sighs of the powerful men of the eternal Holy Land resounded one after another. Many of them watched Zhang Wu grow up step by step. But I never thought that Zhang Wu would make such a choice at this moment. For them, this is an extremely significant loss. Zhang Wu, it is impossible to go all the way to invincibility. He. Zhang Wu smiled charmingly, her beautiful eyes twinkling, and her eyes stayed on the Chaos God Emperor. "Come and fight, old man." At this time, the invincible road transformed from the Ziwei Golden Book has fallen down, extending right in front of the Emperor Luan. Zhongwu lightly opened her red lips and spoke calmly, with boundless domineering. "Since you seek death, let you perish here." The Chaos God Emperor did not expect that the situation would develop like this. His hair and beard were all spread out, and his hair, which had turned from white to black, was swaying in the void. A dark world appeared behind him. At the same time, a dark world appeared behind him. A phantom like a god and demon. 9 avenues were entwined around this phantom. The face of the phantom was none other than the Chaos God Emperor. After taking a closer look, many people couldn't help but take a breath. Dharma. Many people were shocked when they saw this scene. The Dharma appearance will only appear if you are above the Quasi-Emperor's 5th level of heaven. This old guy actually went one step further without saying anything. Whether it was the eternal Holy Land or the extremely powerful men from other holy lands, their eyes flickered at this moment, looking at the phantom image that the Emperor of Chaos God had cleansed out, and they were extremely shocked. Only the Quasi-Emperor of the 5th heaven and above can condense the Dharma. The Dharma appearance has the same fighting power as the main body. In other words, Zhongwu needs to face 2 Chaos God Emperors at the same time. This is not a simple 1+1 problem. When the Dharma and the body are combined, the fighting power unleashed is terrifying to the extreme. Of course, the cost of sacrificing the Dharma aspect is extremely terrifying, and even the Chaos God Emperor cannot maintain it at any time. The fact that he sacrificed the Dharma at this time is enough to show that he attaches great importance to Zhongwu. Zhongwu made a mistake. This old thing is hidden too deeply. When the 3 Quasi-Emperors of the Eternal Holy Land saw this scene, they couldn't help but look ugly. They wanted to intervene at this moment, but they couldn't do it. Zhongwu opened the path of invincibility, which not only prevented Emperor Hao from intervening, but also prevented them from helping. Now it seems that this is shooting oneself in the foot. Zhongwu's fall is almost a foregone conclusion. No one is optimistic about Zhongwu. Even the Quasi-Emperors of the Eternal Holy Land have never thought that this will happen. In their view, even if Zhongwu cannot defeat the Emperor of Chaos God, with her talent, she should be able to hold him back. Now, everything is in chaos. The sword comes. At this moment, Zhongwu had a calm face. In the Holy Land of Eternal Life, a divine sword flew out. Great Wild Sword. This extremely powerful imperial weapon was borrowed by Zhongwu at this moment. Useless. You have the Jidao Emperor's soldiers, but I don't. When Emperor Luan Shen saw this scene, his face was indifferent, as if he had expected it. In fact, many holy places came here today, and they naturally knew the details of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. 5 pieces of Jidao Emperor weapon. How could they not be careful? Luan Shen in the Emperor's hand, a diagram of the universe appeared, emitting sparkling light. There is no doubt that although this object does not seem to be as sharp as the Great Desolate Sword, it has its own mystery. At least, it can offset the relationship between the Emperor and Zhongwu. The gap brought by the soldiers. And once the gap between the Jidao Emperor's soldiers is erased, then there will be no suspense between Zhongwu and the Luan God Emperor, suppressed by the Luan God Emperor's terrifying strength. Avenue 1 style. Zhongwu didn't say much. Instead, the moment the Great Wilderness Sword was in hand, she swung out with one sword. White jade plates flew out on her left and right. Endless mysterious meaning surged from her body. Suddenly, this sword slashed out. Compared to Yang Hao's brutal use of the Great Desolate Sword, Zhongwu's sword was endlessly ethereal and ethereal. But, in the eyes of the Luan God Emperor, it was like a violent storm. Interesting. A junior with terrifying talent. The Luan God Emperor sneered. The laws behind him surged, creating avenues. At the same time, the diagrams of the universe that he sacrificed evolved into the mysteries of the universe. These mysteries of the universe turned into black and white divine light in the void, washing away in front of the Chaos God Emperor. One attack and one defense. Incomparable tacit understanding. Too weak. But at this moment, Zhongwu's cold voice sounded. The next moment, almost everyone looked at Zhongwu as if they had seen a ghost. The sword was like a star, and it instantly shattered the divine light of the Emperor of Luen God. Directly. Kill on the Chaos God Emperor. _ You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 278. How can it be? What did I just see? Behind her, there seemed to be a golden empress appearing. Dharma? Zhongwu had just broken through to the quasi-emperor level, how could she have a Dharma appearance? She hasn't even begun to experience the 5 degenerations of heaven and human beings yet. Many shocked eyes looked at the sword that pierced the divine light of the universe, even shattered the Emperor of Luen God's Dharma, and seriously injured the Emperor of Luen God? Impossible. How can you evolve the Dharma? Why is that sword so mysterious? The Luen God Emperor looked shocked and could hardly believe it. In his opinion, with his quasi-emperor's 5th level combat power, he could easily overpower Zhongwu and kill her. But that sword just now. He clearly lost. The most incredible thing is that when Zhongwu used this sword, a figure of a golden-clothed empress with the same face as Zhongwu appeared behind her, which made the killing power of her sword even more terrifying. It has reached the extreme. This is what everyone is most puzzled about. Zhongwu's previous strength is well known to all the powerful people in Zhiwei Star. Sage. A sage with extremely powerful strength. After Yang Hao broke through and became a saint, now Zhongwu has also used Yang Hao's luck to break through to the quasi-emperor state. But this cannot condense the Dharma without even experiencing the 5 declines of heaven and man. How on earth did she do it? It looks like the Dharma, but not like the Dharma. Could it be that we saw it wrong just now? Is it also some kind of magical technique? Shock sounds resounded. They are puzzled and curious. I even suspected that my eyes were wrong. But the next scene made them all know that everything was wrong. Zhongwu struck out with her sword again. Avenue Second Style. This sword is very different from the previous ethereal sword. This is a sword that contains endless domineering. When Zhongwu slashed the sword with the Great Desolate Sword, her endless domineering power was revealed. That golden cloth, the figure of the Empress, appeared behind Zhongwu again. Then, the Chaos God Emperor was bleeding and seriously injured again. No, impossible. The Luen God Emperor, who was full of confidence before and believed that he could easily suppress Zhongwu and get benefits, has now begun to doubt his life. If he didn't take the first sword, he could think that he underestimated the enemy. But this second sword, Luen God the God Emperor had clearly gone all out. Even his Dharma form had connected with heaven and earth and was suppressing Zhongwu. But it had no effect. As soon as Zhongwu came out with his second sword, his Dharma form collapsed and the Jidao Emperor's soldiers flew upside down. Among them, although there is a reason why the Great Wilderness Sword is extremely terrifying, there is also a reason why Zhongwu's own combat power is astonishing. This battle will end my life. When Emperor Luen God saw this scene, he knew that he had no chance of winning this battle. The opponent's invincible momentum was gradually rising, but his momentum was declining. His combat power was not as good as that of the Emperor's soldiers. There was almost no suspense about the outcome of this battle. Moreover, with the opponent's terrifying killing attacks, even if he had the Jidao Emperor's soldiers with him, the end of defeat would not come too late. The Luen God Emperor completely did not expect that he would walk out in high spirits and want to prove the Tao in this great world, but he would end up facing him. Encountering a pervert like Zhongwu who couldn't tell the difference at all. This made Chaos God Emperor's Taoist heart begin to waver. He was doubting himself. He had been practicing for hundreds of thousands of years, but he could easily defeat even a descendant who had not practiced for 10,000 years. What is the meaning of his practice? Go. The Chaos God Emperor's face was ashen, and the black hair that had regained his youth began to turn white quickly. He made a bold decision at this moment. At this moment, when the winner was not yet completely decided, he used the Jidao Emperor armament in his hand. The Kinkan diagram was played and flew to the Holy Land of Kinkan. There is no doubt that the Luan God Emperor did this to preserve this Jidao Emperor weapon. There is no suspense about his defeat next. Taking advantage of the fact that he still has some remaining strength, he will kill Jidao Kun. 2. Sent it away to avoid being collected by Zhongwu after his death. Although this Jidao imperial weapon fully recognized him and was used by him, it was ultimately passed down by the Emperor of Kinkan Holy Land. There are only 3 Jidao imperial weapons in Kinkan Holy Land. Chaotic God the Emperor would rather he be defeated faster than leave the Jidao Emperor's soldiers behind. Seeing this scene, Zhongwu did not stop him. She knew that if she stopped Luan God Emperor at this moment, the other party would definitely go crazy. If she just fought with Luan God, the God Emperor can fight alone, so that's it. But Zhongwu will have to fight for a long time, but she is not willing to pay too much price. Face death. Living for so long has been in vain. At this moment, Zhongwu spoke calmly. Her tone was calm, but she seemed to have seen through the shaken Taoist heart of the Luan God Emperor at this moment, and killed people with words. Losing to you was indeed an accident. However, the Holy Land of Eternal Life is so tough today. If Yang Hao is not handed over, the Holy Land of Eternal Life will surely perish. The Chaos God Emperor said calmly, but his figure had already begun to tremble. Waste. Zhongwu didn't bother to say anything to him, and the great desolate sword in her hand came out with another killing blow. Suddenly, the world swayed. A quasi-emperor fell. Everyone caught in the war was stunned. Today in the Holy Land of Eternal Life, the whole world came to attack. Someone has already been there. It was expected that a quasi-emperor would die. But no one would have thought that today's first quasi-emperor would fall so quickly. What's even more unexpected is that the person who killed this quasi-emperor would actually be Zhongwu. This is really unbelievable. A battle between the Jidao Emperor, the quasi-emperor of the first level, beheaded the quasi-emperor of the 5th level. No tricks, no twists and turns, just a direct and clean kill. This is enough to explain Zhongwu's terror. Come again. However, after Zhongwu killed the Luan God Emperor, she looked fiercely at the extending invincible road again and said coldly. Her eyes were fixed on Emperor Hao. In the next battle, she wants to fight this man. Just now when she was fighting against the God Emperor, Emperor Hao was not idle. A powerful man who respected the Holy Land of Eternal Life was killed by him like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. Even the other quasi-emperors of the Holy Land of Eternal Life were trying their best. Zhaofu. But there are too many quasi-emperors coming this time. Emperor Hao is extraordinarily cunning. He kills one person and then changes his direction. There is no target at all. Everyone he sees is slaughtered and beheaded. He is so crazy and cruel. Extreme. Even Ancient Dragon Saint was beheaded by Emperor Hao. Ancient Dragon Saint was very good to Zhongwu, like a close elder. At this moment, Zhongwu was naturally full of killing intent towards Emperor Hao. But it was a pity. The invincible road was randomly selected, and there was no link to Emperor Hao, but selected a quasi-emperor of the Sun Holy Land who was included in the Eternal Holy Land killing formation. Emperor Hao, come in. When Zhongwu's invincible way locked on the quasi-emperor, the cold voice of the Blood Emperor rang out. With the disappearance of a quasi-emperor, his pressure was greatly reduced, and he naturally did not allow Emperor Hao to kill everyone outside. He. If this emperor walks in, your life may be in danger. When Emperor Hao saw this, he laughed loudly and actually stepped into the formation. When he stepped into the formation, a phantom that penetrated the sky and the earth suddenly appeared behind Emperor Hao, as well as the emperor's soldiers. He has also reached the 5th level of Quasi-Emperor. He also possesses the Supreme Emperor arms. At this moment, Emperor Hao stepped into the formation, not to throw himself into a trap, but with murderous intent to kill the Blood Emperor. Zhang saw this in one scene, her face was dripping with gloom. She looked at the Quasi-Emperor opponent at this moment, with an invincible aura lingering, and she directly exploded with all her strength. The Great Desolate Sword, like a god or a demon. Avenue 7 Styles. Zhang directly launched her most terrifying attack. Behind her, the Golden Empress appeared again, her power clear to the extreme. Not good. The Quasi-Emperor chosen by Invincible Road clearly only has the 3rd level of Quasi-Emperor. And he does not have the Ultimate Emperor's weapons. Facing Zhang extremely powerful sword, his expression changed drastically. He tried his best to avoid this sword. One sword. But it was too late. No matter how the Quasi-Emperor tried to dodge, Zhang sword struck him directly like a retro body. The magical power of the Great Emperor's sword, the Ultimate Emperor's weapon, almost instantly then killed this Quasi-Emperor. Next. Zhang spoke coldly and spoke again. The Invincible Road snaked out and connected to another Quasi-Emperor who was engaged in a battle. 10 minutes later. Zhang killed a Quasi-Emperor again. In the Holy Land of Eternal Life, blood clouds gathered today still lingering. Countless saints have fallen like rain. Now, even the Quasi-Emperors have begun to be bloody massacres. Snapped. 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 At this moment, crisp applause resounded. Interesting. It seems that this Sci-fi star has quite a few evil geniuses. I originally wanted to wait for the strongest foundation to suppress the Holy Land of Eternal Life, but I'm sorry that I can't let you continue killing like this. As the applause fell, a calm voice sounded. As soon as the voice fell, the originally vast world went dark instantly. From day to night, it turned into night. He. Dragon Emperor, this is not the genius of Sci-fi star. She is the bloodline of my Zhang family who is living outside. I didn't expect that she would awaken the true god of the ancient king. Not only that, he also learned the magic of heavenly acting. Discovering her was an unexpected surprise for the old man. Not just a voice, but another voice chuckled. The words were particularly relaxed and freehand. The next moment, these two figures appeared in front of everyone. One person, with the head of a dragon, was dressed in black armor, with endless radiance emitting from his body. A terrifying aura. A man with an immortal spirit, a white robe, and a ruddy face, like a kind old man. Please download the novel without underlining. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 279. Two figures appeared calmly. But it caused an uproar. All the Quasi-Emperors in the field can sense the unfathomable depth of the two men. The supreme genius from other big stars. Trouble. At least the 6th level of Quasi-Emperor, and may even reach the combat power of the 7th level of Quasi-Emperor. The Huai Emperor, the Blood Emperor and the Ancient Emperor, the 3 Quasi-Emperors of the Eternal Holy Land, all looked grave. Has the ancient heritage of the Holy Land not yet been revived? The situation is getting more and more complicated. If it continues like this, we will be in trouble today. Emperor Huai's face darkened. The situation on the side of the Holy Land of Eternal Life is not good now. The whole world is fighting. Even if all the details of the Holy Land of Eternal Life are revealed, they can still resist with all their strength. This is because in the Holy Land, there are 5 pieces of Gdao the Imperial soldiers help. He is in the best situation. he is in charge of the ultimate defensive imperial weapon of Emperor Mountain, and he can fight several quasi-emperors alone. But for others, the situation is not good. The Blood Emperor has been joined by 4 quasi-emperors under the leadership of Emperor Hao. Under the attack, blood flowed one after another, and he was at a disadvantage. If he had not been in the Holy Land of Eternal Life and was blessed by the luck of the Holy Land of Eternal Life, he would not have fallen. The ancient emperor could only hold on. Seeing Zhang Wu emerge from the sky, Fang Ke could barely stabilize the situation. But the appearance of these two people now has worsened the situation facing the Eternal Holy Land again. You'd better stop acting rashly. If you move, I will kill you, the quasi-emperor of the Holy Land. At this moment, the quasi-emperor with the dragon head walked out calmly, looked at Zhang Wu and said slowly. Zhang Wu's face was slightly cold, but she could sense the strength of the other party and did not move. I am the Dragon Emperor, from the 10,000 stars in the sky, the top 10 Sumi star. They are also the foreign race in the eyes of your Zaiwei star. My ranking on the Emperor ranking is 50. Zhang Wu's eyes moved slightly. Number 50 on the Emperor list, from the Sumi star. No matter where you look from, this Dragon Emperor is extremely powerful. She sensed a terrible dangerous aura from the Dragon Emperor's body. She was not sure that he could suppressing the Dragon Emperor. Perhaps because she stayed with Yang Hao for a long time, Zhang Wu's beautiful eyes narrowed, white jade discs hovered around her body, her thoughts kept flowing, as if she was thinking about how to resolve the situation in front of her. You are outstanding. Inherited the bloodline of the ancient king's true god from the Zhang family in Donghuang, and evolved into the ancient king's true god Dharma. Today, I came here with the intention of hunting down the emperor. But when I saw you, I fell in love at first sight and fell in love with you. If you are willing to become my 17th Taoist companion, then today I will help you in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. The Dragon Emperor spoke slowly. But as soon as the words fell, the whole place was in an uproar. Dragon Emperor, this was not the arrangement before. In the Holy Land of Creation, the quasi-emperor who looked like a stunning young woman said coldly, with an unhappy tone. She originally thought that the appearance of the Dragon Emperor and Tai Emperor would prevent all accidents, and that Yang Hao would be found and killed. However, she did not expect that the Dragon Emperor would actually say such incomprehensible words. Dragon Emperor, Tai Emperor, the destroyer of the world has appeared in this world, and we will punish him together. Please don't show any favoritism. Yes, if the Holy Land of Eternal Life is breached, our promise will be given to you. In each of the major holy places, quasi-emperors began to speak. They were worried that Zhang Wu would suddenly agree and make the Dragon Emperor and Tai Emperor change their stance. Don't be impatient. The destroyer of Zaiwei Star has nothing to do with us. If there is no accident, this little girl Zhang Wu should be the blood of my Zhang family who has been living abroad. If he agrees to the Dragon Emperor's request, I will also be willing to help the Holy Land of Eternal Life. But if you don't agree, you will naturally follow the previous agreement. Of course, Zhang Wu must be brought back to the Eastern Wilderness Star by this emperor no matter what. At this time, the white-haired old man Tai Di said with a smile. The two of them came from outside the big star. They came here only for profit and did not care about the history of Zaiwei Big Star. They didn't care about any words of annihilation. Kill them. Yang Hao, getting the luck from the emperor's list was their original goal. However, Zhang Wu's sudden appearance made them both change their minds. The Dragon Emperor fell in love with Zhang Wu. So did the Tai Emperor. They fell in love with Zhang Wu's blood. Originally, the two of them were lurking in secret to take action against the foundation of the Eternal Saint. But now, something has changed. What the two said made both of them silent. Their eyes were all focused on Zhang Wu. No one expected that today's battle would undergo earth-shaking changes because of Zhang Wu's appearance. If Zhang Wu is willing, it will be troublesome. Damn it, This Zhongwu turned out to be of the Zhang family's bloodline, and she also awakened some ancient king's true god bloodline, and was valued by the Dragon Emperor. I heard that the Dragon Emperor is also a high-ranking existence on the Sumi star where he is located. This is terrible. The extremely powerful men in all the major holy places felt a sense of absurdity permeating the air at this moment. They came to the Holy Land of Eternal Life to fight to the death, but found that the outcome of their battle did not affect the overall situation. These two supreme geniuses from beyond the ancient road in the starry sky can easily change the direction of this war. As long as Zhongwu is willing. Their plans for today were completely in vain and turned into a joke. Hateful. If I, Ziwei Daxing, hadn't gone through the dark ages and the geniuses had fallen like rain, how could I have been so aggrieved? Some ancestors are too self-proclaimed and cannot be awakened, otherwise they would not be in this situation. I hope Zhongwu rejects him and Yang Hao is in big trouble if he survives. The extremely powerful men were all extremely unwilling and stared at Zhongwu. If I choose to agree. What can you do? Yang Hao, what are your plans? At this time, Zhongwu was not in a hurry to answer, but asked quietly. The little girl is smart. If you are willing, then of course it is best. This emperor and the Dragon Emperor will make all their plans come to nothing and make them all retreat and pay the price. When Emperor Tai heard this, he said with a smile. He didn't think there was anything wrong with him going back on his word. Donghuang Star has a great emperor sitting in charge. In their view, Ziwei Star has experienced the Dark Ages without an emperor sitting in charge. They are just insignificant ants. As long as they think about it, they can change orders from morning to night, very casually. Because, they don't care about Ziwei Star at all. Emperor Tai's words made many people in many holy places change their expressions. They didn't expect at all, Emperor Tai would tear off all the skin in front of them, leaving them extremely naked. As for the Emperor Zun, you are a descendant of my Zhang family. Since I asked, I won't hide it from you. He's too sharp. No matter whether we kill him today or not, the Eternal Holy Land and the Ziwei Star cannot protect him. In this case, it is better for me to wait and kill, but I can get some opportunities, and this trip is not in vain. Tai Di's words sounded again, slowly, but as if he was telling the truth, preaching to Zhongwu. I see. Zhongwu was extremely calm after hearing this. It seemed that Tai Di's words were all expected. Let's think about it for a while. Today is your opportunity, don't miss it. The Dragon Emperor's lofty voice resounded, but it made many people in the Holy Land breathe a sigh of relief. As long as Yang Hao is killed, today's goal will be considered accomplished. From this point of view, no matter what Zhongwu chooses, they will be able to the plans of these quasi-emperors will not completely fail. The thoughts of these quasi-emperors are very strange. Facing the alien races that have revived from ancient times, they want to kill them all. But facing the Dragon Emperor who is also an alien race but comes from the Sumi star, these people are extremely humble and willing to make concessions. This is an extremely ridiculous thing. Next. But at this moment, Zhongwu's calm voice sounded again. She ignored the warnings of Dragon Emperor and Tai Emperor, and the invincible road came again, connecting to another ancient quasi-emperor of the Holy Land. Interesting, are you rejecting our good intentions? The Dragon Emperor's eyes flashed, and his eyes were full of meaning. Sit in the well and look at the sky, stubborn and helpless. It's a pity that I have no choice but to take you back to Jiang's house for training. Tai Di also showed a disappointed look. He didn't expect that the blood of the Zhang family living outside would be so stubborn. Dragon Emperor, you kill the Blood Emperor. I kill the Ancient Emperor. Whoever kills faster will kill the last person. Emperor Tai spoke again, his words were obviously very kind, but extremely cold. In just a few words, he actually slaughtered the powerful quasi-emperor of the Eternal Holy Land who held the ultimate imperial weapon like an animal. Good. The Dragon Emperor didn't say much, but took action directly. A great terror came suddenly. The Blood Emperor's face changed drastically. He was already forced into a desperate situation by Emperor Hao, and the Dragon Emperor took action directly like this, even if he had the mother sword of all things, also unable to resist. Boom! But at this moment, a huge shadow appeared, completely covering everything. The trash from other big stars also dare to shout like this. I really think that no one can reach my eternal holy land. The cold and stern voice resounded. Then, the Dragon Emperor's face changed slightly, revealing a look of surprise. He did not expect that there was someone on the Zyway star who could resist his killing attack. This big Zyway star is a bit unusual. The Dragon Emperor said calmly, but he didn't care. Not simple. You will find that Zyway big star is much scarier than you imagined. When will the trash from the eastern wasteland dare to come to my holy land of eternal life to act recklessly? Does Zhang Ming know? At this moment, another wild and unruly voice appeared. On the other side, Emperor Tai's figure flew upside down, and blood spilled into the sky. If it weren't for the protection of the Jidao Emperor soldiers around him, his vitality might have been seriously injured. Hiss! Waves of gasping sounds came from. The Tai Emperor is at least a quasi-emperor in the 6th level, a terrifying existence, and he is protected by the Supreme Emperor's soldiers. How could he be in such a mess? Who is it? He is, Emperor. Didn't he fall? Why are you still alive? A series of incredible voices sounded. The existence that knocked the Tai Emperor away was an extremely ancient existence. No one thought that he had not fallen yet. Fei Lu reminds you, 3 things about reading. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 280. Emperor Yu. Emperor Tai's Hang. At this moment, 2 towering figures have appeared in the holy land of eternal life. One is a burly, bold, and uninhibited bald man. The other has a red face and is wearing a white shirt, but he looks like he is alive. The auras of both of them are soaring to the sky, and they are both extremely terrifying. These 2 people came out of the depths of the eternal holy land and shocked the world just after they recovered. Whether it was the Dragon Emperor or the Tai's Hang Emperor who had just been so brilliant, they were oppressed by the 2 of them. Emperor Yu, the direct disciple of Emperor Samsara, became a quasi-emperor in ancient times. Emperor Tai's Hang, the direct disciple of Emperor Tiandu, became a quasi-emperor in the Dark Age. The 2 direct disciples of the Eternal Holy Land were both invincible quasi-emperors back then. Unexpectedly, they had not yet fallen. It's so scary that the Holy Land of Eternal Life actually has such a foundation. No wonder Zhang Wu refused just now. No, Zhang Wu was stalling for time just now. One after another, voices sounded as they looked at Emperor Tai's Hang and Emperor Yu. They take a deep breath. Extremely surprised. These 2 quasi-emperors had an invincible demeanor back then, and both were expected to attain enlightenment. It's just that they still failed to achieve enlightenment in the end. In the eyes of many people, these 2 people have disappeared in the long river of time and will perish forever. But they never thought that they were just sleeping deep in the holy land of eternal life, and came out again when the holy land of eternal life encountered a great disaster. The holy land of eternal life has some secrets. The strength is very strong. He should have reached the quasi-emperor 9th level in the past, right? It's a pity that you have become corrupted. If you failed on the road to enlightenment back then, your aura has completely declined. If you step out now, it will only accelerate your fall. How long can you fight with me? At this time, I heard the Dragon Emperor's calm voice. Yeah. Today's juniors are quite arrogant. You Emperor, who had knocked Tai Emperor away, smiled and said nothing when he heard this. His eyes looked at Dragon Emperor, as deep as a bottomless black hole. To a certain extent, that's true. We are just losers on the path of proof, but it is enough to suppress a mere 7th level junior. The Tai's Hang Emperor also walked out and spoke. It was he who had just intercepted the Dragon Emperor's fatal blow against the Blood Emperor, allowing the Blood Emperor to survive. Then let's fight. I also want to learn about your strength. However, you can hold back this Emperor, Emperor Tai, but what about the others? Does this Emperor know that if he wants to loot a peak power and kill a genius like Yang Hao, many people are tempted? Although those ants are inferior to me after all, how many of them can you resist? The Dragon Emperor was very confident. He stepped out in one step and cast a divine seal, directly covering Emperor Tai's hang. He said arrogantly, "Let's go, we can't use it here. Let's fight on the ancient road in the starry sky. Stay with me until the end." The Tai's Hang Emperor said coldly, and his figure disappeared with the Dragon Emperor. At the same time, Yu Emperor also swept out, extremely cold, and without saying a word, he directly killed the Tai Emperor again. Next, Zhang Wu's cold voice also resounded. She killed a quasi-emperor again, the world shook, and her sharp edge was revealed. Kill. War. Today, fight to the death. The sounds of fighting resounded throughout the sky. With Emperor Yu and Emperor Tai's Hang recovering, Zhang Wu shines brightly, but the Holy Land of Eternal Life finally takes the initiative again. But no one dares to take it lightly. The words the Dragon Emperor said before disappearing were like the sword of Damocles hanging over the heads of every powerful person in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. They knew very well that what the Dragon Emperor said was true. This time, it's not just these people who are suppressing the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Those who are attracted to Yang Hao, or even to the Holy Land of Eternal Life. But what can they do? The truly weak-willed Eternal Holy Land powerhouses have long been purged. If someone retreats at this moment, no matter whether they enjoy the luck of eternal life or their Taoist heart is shaken, they will not be able to bear it. There is no turning back when the bow is drawn. This battle is just what many people are shouting about. Fight until death. Deep in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Samsara, your disciple is too old, but he may not be the opponent of the Dragon Emperor. Why don't you awaken some of your secrets again? The incarnation of Emperor Hunkin asked casually. No, Emperor, you can handle it, the Emperor of Samsara said calmly with his eyes closed, as if he didn't care at all about the disaster that the Holy Land of Eternal Life is facing now. What about the rest? What are your plans for eternal life? Is any little guy really sure? Now I am consuming all the resources I have accumulated over the years in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. If there is no other way, it is better to awaken the 13th Netherworld army of this Emperor directly and crush all these miscellaneous fishes. What the hell, the trash from Sumi Daxing dares to invade the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Emperor Hunkin said with a groan, his tone was extremely unpleasant. Not urgent. The Holy Land of Eternal Life also needs some tempering. Otherwise, in this great world, I don't want my Taoist tradition to turn into ashes like holy places like Netherworld and ancient immortals. The Eternal Emperor, who transformed into a middle-aged scribe, said calmly. Speaking of which, Zhushan Wangxing is getting weaker and weaker this week. In ancient times, no one knew about the ancient story that my Ziwei star was once ranked among the top 3 spiritual stars. Emperor Hunkin said lazily again. It's okay not to mention the glory of the alien race, the great Emperor Tian Tian on the side said slowly. Alien? No matter how glorious the alien race was, they were overthrown by us. Him. These little bastards, if it weren't for the fact that the life and death of the Emperor's body were unknown, he would have killed them all. Emperor Hunkin was full of bandit spirit and said in an aggressive tone. No need to mention the past. It is true that Ziwei Daxing is weak now. Let's see how this little guy is going to deal with it. The Emperor Tiandu shook his head and sighed. There are 3 more little brats secretly ready to make a move. Tiandu, wake up your great disciple. At this time, The Eternal Emperor spoke again. Good. The Emperor of Tiandu spoke slowly. But at this moment, his figure suddenly stopped. It seems that it is no longer needed. That little guy seems to have made a breakthrough. Do you think he can handle these three guys? The Emperor Tiandu seemed to sense something and asked casually. Cannot. He breaks through and is a saint. Those three people are two from the third level of the Quasi-Emperor and one from the fourth level of the Quasi-Emperor. Can't beat it? The taciturn Emperor Tian said calmly. Haha, then there is no need to wake up for now. I'm quite optimistic about him. The robbery of the Holy Land of Eternal Life today was also caused by him. Let's see how he handles it. With his character, everything will be turned upside down after he is born. The Eternal Emperor said with a smile and waved his hand. It's earth-shaking, isn't that nonsense? He has been framed as the destroyer of the world, Emperor Hunkin said dissatisfiedly. Let me tell you, anyone who dares to confuse sentient beings will be killed. But speaking of it, is that little guy Yang Hao really the destroyer of the world? Hearing Emperor Hunkin's rude words, Emperor Yongsheng shook his head helplessly, looked at Emperor Tiandu and said, Tiandu, you have preached in the Dark Age, can you believe the words of destroying the world? Of course I don't believe it. King Di and I are close friends. Why didn't he kill me when he killed his master? There was another secret back then. Everyone in this world is a cultivator, how can there be anyone who can destroy the world? Even if he plans to bury the road, it is just for personal cultivation. What's more, it's still an illusion. Brother Hunkin, it's time to wash your mind. The Emperor Tiandu said slowly, unhurriedly. You old guy, how dare you insult me? Emperor Hunkin pretended to be angry. While the 5 emperors of the immortal Holy Land were chatting in the depths, endless auspicious clouds were emerging from the Yaoguang immortal peak. When a figure appeared, the sky and the earth are rolling, and everything in the world seems to be still. There are so many visions of heaven and earth beginning to be born at this moment. If it weren't for the shocking war taking place in the Holy Land of Eternal Life at this moment, it would definitely attract the attention of the whole world. Earned 2.3 billion points for condensing the immortal golden body. Earned 2.85 billion points due to breaking realm. System income records were flashing across the screen like crazy, and the points gained had jumped again, which was extremely scary. This figure is naturally Yang Hao. His divine body at this moment is flowing with endless golden light, which is a collection of immortal matter. Experience the system working tirelessly day and night and transforming like crazy. 3 months later, Yang Hao finally succeeded in evolving the prehistoric small world. The immortal golden body is completely condensed at this time. After only this little time, can't you hold yourself back anymore? At this time, Yang Hao had murderous intent in his eyes. He has become a saint. He is omniscient and omnipotent and is more powerful than before. Everything that happened in the Holy Land of Life was reflected in his mind. Because of this, Yang Hao's anger burned all over the 9 heavens at this moment. Today, I am sanctified to kill. His voice fell. Then, as the sky and the earth swayed, his figure began to gradually grow bigger. In the blink of an eye, a huge golden giant fell in one step and appeared on the killing battlefield of the eternal Holy Land. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 281. The golden light is like a thin film, spreading out for hundreds of millions of miles and pressing down horizontally. The Holy Land of Eternal Life is almost covered by this golden light. Naturally, the mountain gates outside the Holy Land are also completely enveloped. Rumble. A series of deafening sounds resounded. Yang Hao stepped down, and the earth shook. At the same time, blood clouds gathered in the sky. The saint who was unattainable in the past was under Yang Hao's understatement. Below, the flesh and blood were blurred, and even the immortal golden body was completely crushed to pieces. The saint's life, which should have been extremely tenacious, was extremely fragile at this moment. All of this. Naturally, it is because the current Yang Hao is extremely powerful. He and the prehistoric small world, the fusion bursts out the endless power of the world, plus the 6 avenues are integrated into it, and the laws are washed away, which is the complete combat power of the quasi-emperor. How much effort does it take for the quasi-emperor to kill the quasi-sage and saint? The answer is obvious. His appearance was too sudden. No one expected that Yang Hao would suddenly appear here. Yang Hao. Immortal golden body. He has become a saint, and his fighting power is even better than before. If you don't take the road to heaven, there will be no door to hell to break in. Surround and kill him. When they saw Yang Hao, the powerful masters from all major holy places were subconsciously startled. After all the major holy places came to attack today just to suppress Yang Hao and kill him. The previous attitude of the Holy Land of Eternal Life has explained everything. They will not let Yang Hao hand over, nor will they allow anyone to target Yang Hao. Even if the secrets of the Eternal Holy Land were uncovered today, there was never any intention of admitting defeat. But now, Yang Hao walked out alone. Those extreme powerhouses who were entangled with the powerhouses of the Holy Land of Eternal Life broke away from their opponents one after another and came towards Yang Hao. There were even several Ji-Dao Emperor weapons flying out, trying to forcibly break through the killing array of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. As long as Yang Hao is killed, the price they paid today will be worth it. Why are you here? Today you are the target of public criticism, and everyone will surround you. At this time, Zhang Wu, who was fighting with a Ji-Dao Emperor soldier, saw Yang Hao walking out and immediately sent a message to Yang Hao to remind him. Holy Lord, please return to the Holy Land and take charge. The Holy Land of Eternal Life has not yet reached the point where the Holy Lord needs to fight in person. Here we can cope. In the Holy Land of Eternal Life, every powerful person in the extreme realm spoke one after another. Even the Blood Emperor, who was severely injured, dissuaded Yang Hao from leaving. Of course they can see that Yang Hao has broken through the quasi-sage and become a true saint. But it's too dangerous right now. Now it is just a balance of power, and the major holy places are not really monolithic. Today, too many strong men have also fallen. All major holy places are also losing money. There will always be people who are timid and give up. Once someone retreats, today's situation will be ruined. They are also waiting for variables. If there are no variables to wait for, there is no need to persist. After all, the details displayed by the Holy Land of Eternal Life were beyond their expectations. The whole world's attacks, as well as the attacks of supreme geniuses from other stars, have not completely broken through the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Now, Yang Hao took the initiative to show up. Although it was not the variable they had been waiting for, it was enough to make them excited. Almost in a moment, 2 quasi-emperors walked out, forcibly paid the price, activated the quasi-emperor control of the Eternal Holy Land, and came towards Yang Hao. With the 2 quasi-emperors joining forces, even if Yang Hao breaks through the saint, he still has no chance of winning. When Yang Hao saw this scene, he said calmly, "Be calm and don't be impatient." The words fell to the ground. In an instant, the golden light around him became even brighter. The ancient world. Yang Hao directly unfolded the prehistoric world. Join the battlefield and kill everyone in the Holy Land without self. He said calmly. The next moment, everyone's shocked eyes appeared. Figures, holding powerful spiritual treasures, slowly walked out of the prehistoric world. These figures became more and more powerful as they stepped out of the prehistoric world. In the blink of an eye, there were 100 figures, including humanoids, big monsters, and huge beasts. but what they have in common is that they have all reached the realm of saints. Respectfully obey the emperor's orders. Respectfully obey the emperor's orders. The hundreds of figures who came out of the ancient world had different expressions, but all of them spoke respectfully to Yang Hao with great obedience. After the words ended, 100 figures turned into divine lights and joined the various battle groups. They unleashed their extremely powerful combat power, holding terrifying spiritual treasures, and together with the powerful men of the eternal Holy Land suppressed the powerful men of other holy lands. Almost in an instant, blood poured out and screams were heard. These figures who came out of the prehistoric world are extremely powerful in combat. Is this a creature in the world? He is so brave, how can he release those world creatures, which are the cornerstone of the world? So powerful, every creature in the world has the fighting power of a saint. Yang Hao, isn't he afraid that the world will collapse? Maintaining 100 saints at the same time consumes a terrifying amount of spiritual power. No, the situation is bad now. Seeing Yang Hao unfolding the ancient world and releasing figures one after another, the extremely strong men present in the Holy Land of Eternal Life or other holy places were inexplicably shocked. Many of them have evolved the killing array into the world, and there are also creatures born in the natural world. But the creatures in their world are very weak, and it is impossible to escape from the small world. Once they leave the small world, they will expend a lot of spiritual energy. For many saints, the most correct approach is to directly bring their own world into collision, or to blend into it. Now, what Yang Hao is doing is really unbelievable. If you want to fight, then fight with me. Yang Hao's voice sounded again, and at this moment the two quasi-emperors had appeared. Even if he released the world's creatures and shocked everyone, the two quasi-emperors still forced themselves to come and prepare to kill him. Yang Hao not only did he not panic at all, but he sneered again and again, stirring up the empty prehistoric world again. He actually enveloped the prehistoric world directly towards the two quasi-emperors. Ha ha ha, you are so naive and ridiculous, you actually want to cover us in your world war. Fools are fearless, this will only hasten your fall. Since you want to die, I will grant it to you. The two quasi-emperors who surrounded and attacked Yang Hao were all stunned. Then they laughed loudly and actually walked towards Yang Hao's ancient world. The saint enveloped the world towards his opponent, so he could naturally occupy his own world. Home field status. It is also one of the means by which saints use the world. But generally speaking, saints use such means to only cover those whose strength is far inferior to themselves. If they are evenly matched, once the other party enters the world and is not suppressed, then it is very likely that the other party will destroy the world, suffer a shocking backlash, and be seriously injured. In the eyes of the two quasi-emperors, even if Yang Hao has the quasi-emperor's combat power, it is still too much to envelope them both in the prehistoric world at the same time. Exaggerate. Oh, there are people. Let's all go in together. Yang Hao ignored these two quasi-emperors. After completely covering the two quasi-emperors who took the initiative to welcome the prehistoric world, Yang Hao looked into the void again. He was extremely keen to see that there were 3 quasi-emperors in the void. The aura was hidden. Without any hesitation, Yang Hao directly cleansed the ancient world again. Almost in an instant, he enveloped the 3 figures in the void. His 5 quasi-emperors. Yang Hao is too trusting. Seeing this scene, Qin Sheng, who had had a relationship with Yang Hao, was extremely shocked. She was currently fighting with a sage from the Holy Land of Qincan, and was severely injured. With the addition of the young Taoist, he felt much more relaxed and had more time to observe Yang Hao. There were many powerful Ji-Dao people who were as shocked as the Qin Sheng. They had not noticed that there were 3 quasi-emperors hiding among them before. But now, with Yang Hao expanding the prehistoric world and collecting all the quasi-emperors, they have been exposed. One person fights 5 people. But they are all extremely shocked. However, be careful. It is very likely that they have the ultimate imperial weapon, and I will give you the great desolate sword. At this moment, Zhongwu's figure came. Need not. I also have the Jidao imperial soldier. Yang Hao chuckled lightly, rejected Zhongwu's proposal, and then his figure disappeared directly into the ancient world. And there are Jidao emperor soldiers. Can we a tower fight against it? Zhongwu watched Yang Hao escape into the prehistoric world, and her eyes couldn't help showing worry. At this moment, the situation on the battlefield has undergone a shocking reversal. As Yang Hao directly pulled the 5 quasi-emperors into the prehistoric world, there was another stir. Hundreds of world creatures walked out, if the battle group. The Holy Land of Eternal Life, which was already evenly matched, had completely gained the upper hand at this moment. Hold on a little longer. When Yang Hao falls, everything he has paid today will be worth it. At this time, Emperor Hao's cold voice came. In the battlefield at this time, as Zhongwu killed the quasi-emperors one after another, only 4 quasi-emperors were present in the major holy places. They had already given birth to the intention to retreat. Emperor Shui the Emperor, the ancient emperor and others had no way to kill them. But Zhongwu was too evil, and she killed several quasi-emperors with the great desolate sword. If it was their turn next to Invincible Road, they were not sure they could defeat Zhongwu. Emperor Hao's words are the only motivation left for them at this moment. As long as Yang Hao is killed by the 5 quasi-emperors, then all the efforts today will be worth it. Time flows, and half an hour passes in the blink of an eye. The entire Holy Land of Eternal Life is a piece of cake. Desolate and broken, the world is turned upside down. Is his world shattered? Wrong. He walked out, and the breath of the other 5 quasi-emperors was gone. Everyone was paying attention to Yang Hao. At this moment, they were shocked to find that Yang Hao had walked out of the prehistoric world. And the other 5 people have no breath at all. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 282. Void Cleansing. Streams of breath flew out. 2 pieces of Jidao Emperor weapons penetrated Yang Hao's ancient world and headed towards the end of Tianque. Impossible. How could this be the result? Emperor Tianlang and Emperor Kongwen were both prominent beings in the Dark Ages. Those who later entered Yang Hao's ancient world should also be the supreme genius in the emperor's list. How could their entire army be wiped out? There must be something abnormal. All eyes watched with great shock as Yang Hao's figure reappeared. At this moment, Yang Hao's aura was a little weak, and the aura of the immortal golden body was also looming. But almost in an instant, his breath completely recovered. His eyes were arrogant to the whole audience, with murderous intent in his indifference. No matter how powerful he was, he could not kill the 5 quasi-emperors so quickly. However, everyone thought wrong. How could Yang Hao not know that bringing the quasi-emperor into the prehistoric world was extremely dangerous? But he still did it without hesitation. The answer is simple. In his ancient world, he was not 1 against 5, but 3 versus 5. After the 5 quasi-emperors entered the prehistoric world, Yang Hao did not hesitate to call out the silver-horned alien quasi-emperors who had suppressed them in the Beifang Fire God domain and the Leng Emperor who had suppressed them on Void Island. These 2 people are both powerful quasi-emperors. Of course, they have now been completely transformed by Wei Pagoda and have become Yang Hao's thugs. Among the quasi-emperors who entered Yang Hao's prehistoric world, there was 1 quasi-emperor in the first heaven, 2 quasi-emperors in the second heaven, and 3 quasi-emperors in the third heaven. Such a lineup is not unpowerful. Even among these people, there are 2 Jidao Emperor weapons. One of them is even an extremely powerful imperial weapon. Even Yang Hao, who has become a saint, is not sure that he can face such a lineup with 1 against 5. Good thing. The quasi-emperor of the Silverhorn alien race is good at the way of soul and space. That Leng Emperor was also a powerful quasi-emperor of the 4th level of quasi-emperor. Yang Hao's current combat power has at least reached the 5th level of quasi-emperor's combat power. In addition to the prehistoric world, it is Yang Hao's own home court, and his combat power has been greatly improved. The ending is of course no surprise. These quasi-emperors never dreamed that they would fall like this. Walk. What happened today has failed, and this little devil has become a world-shaking disaster. He has entered the eternal forbidden zone, and may even have connections with foreign races. After today, he will be the enemy of the whole world and will not be tolerated by the world. The moment Yang Hao walked out, Emperor Hao, who had just bewitched the other powerful men in the Holy Land, suddenly spoke, beating the Blood Emperor until he wept with blood, and instantly stepped back, preparing to leave the Holy Land of eternal life. Not only Emperor Hao, but also many extremely powerful people here. The strong men have already seen that with the revelation of Zhongwu, Yang Hao, and the Holy Land of eternal life today, it is no longer realistic to kill Yang Hao. They need to make long-term plans before making any plans. One after another, figures began to cut through the sky, want to leave. Everyone comes to my Holy Land of eternal life as guests. Even if my hospitality is not well received, there is no need to be so open-minded. It's a good time to stay with the other strong men who have fallen in my eternal Holy Land. When Yang Hao saw this scene, his eyes were extremely cold. On the left and right, victory was already in sight. Except for Zhongwu, who was still fighting with the quasi-emperor of Taishu Holy Land, almost all the powerful men in the major Holy Lands were fleeing. Eternal life, the strong men in the Holy Land all laughed ferociously and started to hunt. Emperor Hao, I like the gift you gave me a few days ago. Now, let me give you a gift too. As soon as Yang Hao finished speaking, the star divine orb appeared, evolving into a terrifying divine sword star, flying hundreds of millions of miles directly and piercing through the fleeing Holy Lord of Yin and Yang. Holy Lord of Yin and Yang, died. Yang Hao, you have become possessed. When Emperor Hao saw this scene, his face was extremely gloomy. Holy Lord, that is the face of the Holy Land. But Yang Hao killed the Yin-Yang Holy Lord without hesitation, which was equivalent to a heavy slap in the face of the Yin-Yang Holy Land. He admitted that it was not because he was defeated by Yang Hao and the situation was uncontrollable, but he did not want the other party to make any further progress. What, don't like it? Then come and kill me. Yang Hao finished speaking and walked away. His speed was like chasing stars and chasing the moon, reaching the extreme. In an instant, he was in front of Emperor Hao. Court death. When Emperor Hao saw Yang Hao coming to him, he couldn't help but the murderous intent surged in his eyes. He shot out a Hunyuan diagram that washed away the black and white swimming fish. The ultimate emperor soldier. Holy Lord, be careful, that's the supreme Wuji Hunyuan diagram of the supreme emperor of the Yin and Yang Holy Land. Both offense and defense are almost at their peak, extremely powerful. When Emperor Hao was playing the Tai's Hang Wuji Hunyuan diagram, Emperor Huai's voice came to Yang Hao's ears. Level 56, Daodi Astrology. Yang Hao, however, without thinking, directly shot the astrological divine bead, and a terrifying Daodi figure reached through the sky and the earth, killing towards Emperor Hao's supreme infinite Hunyuan diagram. At the same time, melt. Yang Hao said calmly. The creatures of the prehistoric world who were going in all directions to hunt down the powerful men of the extreme path in the major holy places turned into divine light in an instant and flew into the prehistoric world. Then, the prehistoric world and Yang Hao's figures merged together. The golden light giant reappeared. The aura on his body was rising steadily, and it was extremely terrifying. Just the blooming aura made many extremely strong men who had not escaped from the pursuit of the powerful in the Holy Land of eternal life become invisible. He paused and was shot down by rays of terrifying divine light. Quasi-Emperor 6th level combat power. Yang Hao completely integrated his avenue with the prehistoric world, sensed his own combat power, and roughly estimated his combat power at this moment. In the prehistoric world at this time, 100 prehistoric creatures have been born. These prehistoric creatures, every addition to his physical strength would double his combat power. A creature from the prehistoric world would have a full 100 times combat power. He didn't know if his estimated combat power was correct. But for Hao, it was enough. The reason why he pursued Emperor Hao so hard was because the other party had humiliated Zhongwu before. The biggest reason was that this time he became the target of public criticism and was slandered as the planner of the world destroyer. 1. Yes. Not long after he refined the emperor's corpse and evolved into the prehistoric world, Yang Hao had completely transformed Lin Feng. Naturally, he also knew a lot of secrets, including the layout of the conspiracy to destroy the world. In addition to Lin Feng, Emperor Hao of Yin Yang Holy Land is also one of them. Yang Hao, of course, cannot let him go. The Dharma of Haoshan God. At this time, Emperor Hao had already sensed something from Yang Hao's decisive attitude, and guessed that Yang Hao most likely knew the truth, otherwise he would not pursue him so hard. He has lived for who knows how many years. I have seen so many turmoils. At this moment, I naturally did not feel any fear, but started fighting with Yang Hao directly. Behind Emperor Hao, a majestic and holy figure appeared. This majestic and holy figure was naturally the Dharma image of Emperor Hao. 9 avenues exuding a terrifying aura also entangled themselves. In addition, a world of light also instantly merged into Emperor Hao. The combat power of Emperor Hao and the Dharma behind him increased to a terrifying level in an instant. The Emperor's change made Yang Hao's body hair stand on end, feeling the crisis. Very powerful. Very good, I will kill you today as the first stepping stone after my sanctification. Seeing Emperor Hao go all out, Yang Hao not only did not feel intimidated, but instead had a strong fighting spirit. While he stirred up the star god orb, the Wei tower above his head sent out a protective shield. On the other hand, he forced himself forward to get close to Emperor Hao. Let's fight. The heaven and earth are shaking crazily, and broken cracks appear at extremely fast speeds. The endless space storm completely shatters the mountains and rivers billions of miles away from the eternal Holy Land. I don't know how many creatures have been robbed. Yang Hao and how the Emperor couldn't care about that much. One person was in front, the other was chasing after each other, killing each other crazily, and using all their methods. The endless mysteries played by Emperor Hao and his Dharma made Yang Hao bleed, and his immortal golden body was broken again and again. But Emperor Hao also felt uncomfortable. Yang Hao, who merged the Great Dao and the prehistoric world, was so powerful that it was terrifying. Every punch and blow seemed to shatter the world. Even though Emperor Hao had the advantage, he was still unable to escape from Yang Hao's fight. Under the eyes of the God of Destiny, all of Emperor Hao's tactics and movements are invisible. Great Soul Technique. Great Dark Magic. Yang Hao, use your Taoist skills. Great Holy Light Technique. Big Nightmare. At the same time, Emperor Hao actually used Taoism. Both of them felt like they were struck by lightning and killed by the terrifying Dao. Their bodies felt like they were bitten by billions of insects and ants, cracking and resurrecting like crazy. Yang Hao, you devil. For your own selfish desires, you disregard the lives of hundreds of millions of creatures. Do you know how many spiritual beings died in the battle just now? Even if the Quasi-Emperor fights, he will deliberately take care of the living beings, but you deliberately fight with this Emperor in a densely populated place. You still have an alien aura and control alien Taoism. You want to exterminate the cultivation tradition of my Zaiwei star. Subvert everything. Let the alien race rise again and rule our human race. Holy Land of eternal life, are you sure that such a person is qualified to serve as your holy lord, instead of leading the holy land of eternal life to the end of the world and being reviled by thousands of people. At this moment, Emperor Hao made a voice, solemn and solemn, reverberates through everything in the world. He once again promoted Yang Hao's theory of destroying the world, being cruel and cruel, killing countless creatures. I see. When Yang Hao saw this scene, he still kept fighting with Emperor Hao for a moment. But he understood. Just now it was clear that Emperor Hao was escaping and heading towards a densely populated place. But now that he was speaking to Emperor Hao, everything changed. Yang Hao, you deserve to die. Everything is your fault. Destroyer of the world, you are the destroyer of the world. You and the eternal Holy Land are both demons in the world. In Zai Star, you are destined to be infamy for eternity. At this time, Yang Hao heard a series of extremely vicious curses and insults. These voices all come from ordinary practitioners who are as humble as ants.